Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Yoni again with Apuros Huevos. This is our first episode. I'm super excited. I have Camilo Montealegre. It's very, very exciting because this is our first episode, and this is a very, very, amazing guest that we have today. So, without further ado, this is my good friend Camilo. Cheers, Camilo.
Oye, mucho gusto.
Mucho gusto. So, I met Camilo about 2 years ago at a meetup. I met him somewhere in the West LA. It was a great meetup. It's always good to network as you continue to grow your relationship. It's very cliche, but your net worth is your net worth. So we establish a small relationship. We continue to, we continue to establish that relationship, and now we're here today. And I'm very excited because, him being a Colombian immigrant, and I'll let you guys, hear his side of the story, and me being a Mexican immigrant, it's always like we have that common ground. So, and, it's super special because being the first guest in Apuros Huevos is going to be an always memorable one. So, as I've told you guys in the past, Apuros Huevos, we're going to bring successful entrepreneurs, successful athletes, business owners, successful parents, and by successful, it just means someone I respect, and I would definitely trade places with them in the trade that they specify, in the trade that they do for work or they do as a parent. So anyway, Camilo, can you tell us a little bit about you? What do you do for work? And what brings you here? Tell us your story.
Yo soy de Colombia. I'm Colombian. I came here when I was about 12 years old. And obviously we come from a family that is not, it wasn't very wealthy or rich, you can say. And we started from the bottom, con huevos, como dice Yoni. So, yo empecé a trabajar en Target. Mi primer trabajo era en Target y empujando los carritos en el Target, y poquito a poquito, I started stepping up. But I always wanted to, I had a vision, I wanted to do something in life. I was not a good student. I wasn't good for school. I didn't really wanted to follow through school. And I was a little bit concerned because I wanted to take my life to a different level. So slowly but surely, I started getting into construction. I started with hardwood floors. I was a flooring contractor. I started with hardwood floors. Instalábamos pisos de madera, lijábamos pisos de madera, y poquito a poquito me fui metiendo más en la construcción, y ya hoy en día, gracias a Dios, saqué mi licencia since 2006, y ahorita estamos haciendo remodelaciones, construyendo casas desde cero, y las oportunidades están para todo el mundo. O sea, el que quiere salir adelante, sale adelante. Entonces, para todas esas personas que están ahí afuera, que están interesados y que quieren salir adelante, es de meterle huevos, como dice Johnny. Entonces, sí, esa es un poquito de mi historia. Y les contaré un poquito más a medida que vayamos avanzando aquí con el podcast, y les cuento más.
So that's an amazing story. A lot of you guys don't know that when you're getting started, where you are today, it's not where you're going to finish. And it's definitely like Camilo's story. He's pretty humble, but he's doing flips. We were just talking off camera that he purchased a house at a 1.2 million with an ARV of 1.7. Those who don't know the value, the terms in real estate, buying at a 1.2 million and for a resale price of 1.7 and investing about 200,000. You guys do the math. There's a lot of fudge factor fees there, but he'll probably make $150,000 to $250,000, give or take, depending on the market, the finishes, etc. So as someone that was, pushing, cars in the Target, I personally was a dishwasher at one point in my career. So if people were like that and they had a vision, they had a dream, and I don't believe Camilo is nowhere at where he wants to be in life today, because appetite always gets bigger.
Oh yeah, 100%. You're never gonna stop.
We're never gonna stop.
The more you grow, the more you want to be there. You keep going. So sky's the limit. No hay límites para los que quieren crecer.
Y no es and it's not like como que no te das abasto. It's just that, and it's not about the money, right?
No, it's the process. It's about enjoying the process.
It's enjoying the process.
As you grow, like for myself, what I can say for myself, as I started doing better in business, not just making more money, but being able to help others, provide for my family, help my parents, dar más trabajos también a la gente.
Claro.
Como que te llena a ti, te ayuda, o sea, te te metes en ese mundo donde tú sigues, y a medida que vas haciendo más, vas creciendo y creciendo, y ves que no hay límites. O sea, yo soy una persona que no me gusta sentarme y cruzarme de brazos y decirme, ya la hice. No, me gusta como que tener mis metas y pusharme para seguir adelante. Entonces, el sky's the limit.
So sky's the limit, guys. And I just keep going back to, you see, if you guys caught something, he throws some really good nuggets there that it's all perceived value because you're providing, for your household, for your parents, you're providing more opportunities for other people. And, God, the universe, the energy that you provide out there, you just get rewarded maybe in a financial way, but that's just the way it works. You provide value and then you get that in return. So, let me just ask you, Camilo, why do you do what you do?
Good question.
And these questions, he hasn't
haven't seen
studied them
anything.
or nothing like that.
No sé
They're
nada
very raw.
Son sorpresas que me tiene ahí guardaditas.
So I want to make sure that I kind of pickle his brain because I'm very interested in him. I'm interested in what he does because I want to do more on the luxury flips, right? So what do you do? Why do you do what you do, Camilo?
Lo que más disfruto, what I really enjoy the most on what I do, es el resultado. El resultado de cuando empiezas un proyecto, sí, siempre van a haber tropiezos, siempre van a haber dificultades en muchos términos, en el préstamo, encontrar la propiedad, pero a medida que tú vas poniendo todo en orden y tienes un embudo, un funnel, donde vas pudiendo filtrar todo y va cayendo todo en su lugar, eso es lo que me gusta, porque disfruto el proceso y al final veo los resultados y ahí es cuando ya empiezas a ver todas las semillas que tiras y todo el fruto que te empieza a dar del trabajo que haces.
So, I'm sure we've all heard, discover your passion. And obviously he's very inspired about the remodeling process. Cuando ya terminas la casa y la miras top of the top, we were talking off camera that people were submitted an offer $50,000 over his asking price. They removed all contingencies because you were so inspired what you put, of the work that you do into your houses, right?
Sí, yo creo que todo el mundo tiene un gift. All of us have a gift. Tú tienes tu gift, yo tengo mi gift, sino que hay personas que desafortunadamente como que no encuentran ese regalito que te da Dios. Dios a todos, yo soy católico, soy creyente, y yo creo que para todos tenemos un regalo en especial, un gift, se puede decir, y el mío es de que me gusta, no estudié diseño, solo estudié para sacar mi licencia de contratista, pero no soy interior designer ni nada, y muchas personas a veces me preguntan que si estudié, y les dije que no. O sea, es algo que me gusta, lo hago con mucho gusto, y también me encanta también ver shows o estar relacionándome con personas con Johnny o otros developers, donde aprendes un poquito. Entonces, yo creo que si ustedes descubren lo que les gusta, ahí van a poder desarrollar lo que quieren hacer y va a ser mucho más fácil el proceso de todo.
Okay, let me shift gears a little bit on that what he's saying, because we do all have a gift. So this is gonna be a very tricky question. Do you know what's your mission statement on this earth?
Por los últimos 2 años he venido trabajando mentalmente, o sea, trabajándome yo mismo y ver cuál es mi misión de estar acá. Tengo 45 años, para muchos que no saben, entonces llega una etapa en la vida donde uno empieza a preguntarse, hay personas que lo saben a muy temprana edad, y yo en realidad pues estaba muy enfocado en salir adelante, ayudar a mi familia, poder tener un buen carro, una buena casa, pero llega un punto en tu vida donde empieza uno ya a preguntarse, como me preguntaste tú ahorita, Miguel, cuál era mi misión en esta vida. Y en esta etapa de hoy en día mi misión, yo puedo decir que es ayudar a mucha gente y de pronto darles las ideas o herramientas que yo tengo hoy en día para poder ayudar a muchas personas a salir adelante y que ellos también puedan ayudar a sus familias, generar más empleos, compartir. Hoy en día, pues, social media, todas las plataformas, se puede uno ayudar con muchas personas. Entonces, mi misión en esta vida hoy en día es salir adelante, obviamente, con los ojos de Dios y estar ayudando a muchas personas que en realidad lo necesitan. Hay muchas familias que necesitan de pronto ayuda con gastos o cosas que se pueden hacer, que uno puede ayudar. Eso es ayudar a la gente más que todo.
Claro. And I say that because Camilo shared with us he's 45 years old, right? I'm 34. But you don't have to be a certain age to discover your mission statement, your mission in life. I really see life as dale con huevos, stay integrity, todo, con buena ética, con buenos principios, trabaja duro, and you'll discover your mission statement. You'll discover it. But it's kind of hard if you're on the wrong path, maybe excessively drinking, doing drugs. You can't really figure out your mission statement.
Es más difícil, yo creo que es mucho más difícil.
Es mucho más difícil.
Yo, gracias a Dios, nunca sí tuve las amistades que me decían, vente para acá, y yo no, yo me iba para allá. Pero desafortunadamente, si uno no está enfocado y no está bien con las amistades que tiene que estar, te puedes desenfocar fácil. Hay gente que lo hacen, o sea, tienen huevos y que pueden estar en el mal y de repente prum, se encarrilan otra vez y se enfocan y hacen las cosas bien. Gracias a Dios yo nunca caí en malos pasos, estuve enfocado. Sí tuve mis tropiezos y mis problemitas. Tengo un hermano gemelo, de pronto muchos de ustedes no lo saben, y él sí era, como dicen, la oveja negra de la familia. Y yo era pues más enfocado en lo que quería hacer y él hoy en día pues trabaja conmigo también y los dos estamos muy enfocados en lo que queremos hacer y nos está yendo muy bien. Entonces no es imposible, no es difícil. Para esas personas que están en pasos malos o que tienen problemas aquí y allá, nunca es tarde. Yo puedo ser el papá de Johnny, 45 años, entonces nunca es tarde.
No, and through like hard work, you're definitely going to get more of a clear idea, a vision of what's your mission statement. And at the end of the day, like and we'll discover this through the whole podcast, the whole journey, that the mission statement's almost never the money. So that's where like a lot of people get inspired about real estate entrepreneurship. Quiero más dinero. It's not about the money. That comes. That really does come. So, Camilo, I know you're doing remodels. You shared a little bit about what you're doing. You started as a contractor here.
So, se me olvidó decirte, obviamente empecé con los hardwood floors,
sí,
remodeling, y después hace 8 años empezamos con los ADUs. ¿Te acuerdas que todo el mundo empezó con los ADUs? So, yo fui uno de los primeros GCs en Los Ángeles en someter permisos a la ciudad para conversiones de garajes. Y me fue muy bien y pues ahí tengo un poquito de mi nombre, más o menos medio conocido ahí en Los Ángeles y más que todo en el Valle de San Fernando, de las conversiones de garajes. Entonces eso fue algo que me ayudó también bastante a dar mi nombre a conocer.
Yeah.
Sí.
So for those of you who don't know that we're not in real estate, ADUs are accessory dwelling units. So basically you convert a garage into a living space or you build a separate unit into a living space. And nowadays you rent it out, you sell for more value. And obviously it's become a sensation here. I know Atlanta has them. I know Seattle has them. Las Vegas, Utah. So it's becoming a thing because there's no more land that we have. So might as well, obviously with the housing crisis that we have. So Camilo, what's different from you and the rest of the people, the rest of the contractors, the rest of the investors, the rest of doing? How are you different from most of it? What do you think that is, this is how I'm different?
Yeah. So I don't really pay attention to who's my competitors.
Love that.
I focus on myself because the sky's the limit. If I compare myself with you or someone else, you might be here, I'm over here, and you're gonna keep going up, and I'm never gonna catch you. So I just stay focused and be myself and do what I do. But one thing that I do have that makes me maybe different from you or someone else, I'm very transparent on what I do. I'm very like to be on time. So general contractors, unfortunately, we have a bad reputation that the crews don't show up, you're not performing or finishing your project on time. So I try to pick those points and make myself different on those 5 maybe points that I can point out to you, and I just gave you like 2 of them, and I try to work on those because I know a lot of contractors fail on that, returning phone calls. You call me, I answer the phone. So I'm always, I try to be on top of my clients, yeah.
Got it. So, started in
I don't want to be doing this for the rest of my life. So I had to think about like something that I want to do that is related to home improvements because the flyers were going to the houses. So going back to the story of my townhouse, I purchased a townhome and I needed to do my floors. So I hired these guys to do my floors and they went in there for 2 days and they got the floors done. And I was like, and it cost me like maybe 5, 6, 7 grand. They made like maybe $3,000, $4,000. I was like, shoot, that's what I want to do. Because there's no liability. You're not working on the roof or you're not doing electrical plumbing. It was quick. So I started doing floors. But before that, I didn't know anything about floors. So I puse un anuncio en La Opinión and I interviewed like maybe 20 or 30 different installers and I asked all of them the same question. And like when it comes down to installing the floors, the process and all that. So the way I learned to get started was interviewing the guys. And then I went out and started selling. But let me tell you a story. I didn't have a license for flooring. So when I was doing advertising for flooring, one time they called me up like a year later. And that was the CSLB. They set me up. So long story short, they took me in the bag. They arrested me. But I was already in the process of getting my license. So they got upset. They're like, hey, why didn't you tell us that you were in the process? This is what we're trying to do. We're trying to tell all the contractors that are not licensed to go get your license. So they let me go. But to go back and make it quick, that's how I started with the floors. And then now I started doing floors, and then they started asking me, can you paint this wall? Can you do this? And then
that's crazy. Well, talk about getting creative of not having the resources and the people who teach you. And that was kind of my next question, and through what I believe, and we have mentors, right? We hire coaches. I've hired a lot of coaches. I do coaching. What do what's your take on mentors? Have you ever had a mentor, someone to guide you?
I always wanted to. I always thought about getting a mentor, but I never did. I never had a mentor. Mm-hmm. I guess aprendí a los putazos.
And that's kind of like the whole idea behind the podcast, que aprendemos a puros huevos, right?
But back then, como que sí había mentors, but there was no social media. There was none of that back then when I was starting.
You're talking about 2007, 8, and 9, right?
Before, 2005, 6, and 7. So como hoy en día, todo el mundo, o sea, ven este podcast, hey, ¿cómo lo hacemos? Quiero hacer esto, lo otro. Hoy en día, tengo amigos que me dicen, hey, quiero invertir, tengo dinero. Y yo le digo, pues, hoy en día no es difícil conseguir el dinero se consigue.
Sí.
Lo más difícil es encontrar las propiedades, pero back then, ¿quién te va a decir, hey, quiero invertir, ¿sí me entiendes? Uh-huh. Pero nunca tuve un mentor y sí me gustaría de pronto, más que un mentor de negocios, un mentor más como life coaching.
Like a life coaching.
Sí, más en ese sentido.
Más sentido, yeah. And I do believe, like, I personally hired coaches. I don't believe that. And I was just like Camilo. I'm a little bit younger than him. So maybe I have that, kind of like a more of the younger generation, which is not far. It's only 10 years. Pero when I got started, the first like 6, 7 years, I was kind of on my own, Pero sí tenía a un señor que yo le aprendí mucho de él, like a lot. And then my first business partner, he was like 10 years older than me, so I learned a lot from him. So no es de que eran directamente mis mentors, but I learned a lot from them. So I call them my mentors, nice. Right? So
yo sí tuve un señor se llama Bernardo, un colombiano. He was probably, I hope he's still alive, but back then he was like 62 and I was like 30. Pero el señor sí me ayudó bastante. Él iba conmigo a veces a hacer los estimados.
Wow.
To do the estimates, and he will tell me. And this is funny. I'm going to share with you guys. So there was one time we were doing an estimate at a house for a home improvement. So we put the proposal together and we gave it to the homeowner. And the homeowner goes, he reviews it. Oh, okay, yeah, looks good. Well, let me talk to my wife. And I was like, okay, cool, yeah, that's fine. Let us know. So the man steps up. He's like, oh, let me talk to mine. So the homeowner turns around and he's like, why? What do you gotta ask your wife? And he was like, well, I gotta ask her if she'll let me do the job. So we started laughing and we were like, oh, whatever, it's funny. So yeah, that was a cool mentor, cool guy that I had, and he was very funny and helping me out in many ways.
Amen. So a lot of the times, you don't need to call them directly your mentor. There's people that already paved the road for you. They're gonna do it for you, and I really believe that people who already have the information, they're eager to give it out. Like the little information that I've gathered through my career, I want to give it out. Like we want to give it out. But the problem is that people don't ask enough questions, and it's the ego that gets in the way. Like, oh, he's gonna think that I sound like I don't know what I'm talking about. Yeah. And it's our head that starts spinning. But the people that know this information, they want to give it to you. Especially someone who's in the same field, who does what you do. Like they want to get this information. So let me go follow with the next question. What would you say to someone that's just getting started and doing the house flipping or the home improvements? What advice would you give to them?
My advice will be to, I will give them the advice of what I went through, like I first started with my own properties. Thank God in our portfolio we have a few properties. We built ADUs on them. A few years ago when the interest rates were low, we were able to purchase and refi and keep some of those properties with really good interest rates, and we built ADUs on them. But I will say, start with before you do a flip, it depends on what you want to do. If you really need to start building some cash flow and have liquid cash, then you just got to jump into buy and flip. Then once you have enough capital, you can start buying some and holding some and flipping the other ones. But if in most cases, you need money right away. So my advice is like buy a nice little house, fix it up, don't put too much into it, and then boom, flip it, and then do your next one. And then on the next one, you might have $200,000, and then the third one you have $400,000. So that's what I did when I first started on my first flip. I made $100,000 on my first flip. And then I took those $100,000 and did my second flip, and I made another $100,000 on my second flip. Then I had $200,000, and then it just keep going. And then you start building your capital. Yeah.
Yes, I love that. So that's a great advice right there, because we get a lot of carried into what other people, but we actually have a good story of someone who did them. I personally done similar to him. So it works, and if you don't have the capital, you can always just bring the deal and partner with people like Camilo. Yeah. And I'm sure if you bring a great deal to him, he'll fund it, he'll rehab it, and you'll get some piece of that pie, and I'll do it myself with you guys. So that's a whole, that's one of the reasons why we want to provide some value. And if you guys see some value back, you guys think, and if this is, I know there's a lot of realtors, wholesalers, you can bring Camilo the deal, he'll flip it, he'll give you the listing back, so you guys can also, get rewarded through your hard work.
That's very important what you said. Like, I'm very loyal with the guys that I work with, like the realtors that bring me deals. Like, I give back the listing to them. I'm not the investor that is gonna, thanks for the deal, and then fix it up and not give it back to you. So we'll give it back so you guys can, put it up on the market.
Put it up on the market. Yeah, that's very important. And, being the man of your word, that's one of the, 4 agreements, be impeccable with your word. So, Camilo, I have a youth that I played soccer. I love soccer. I left to Mexico to pursue my dream. And there is some, I wouldn't say regrets, but there's some things that I would have done different. Hanging around with the wrong environment, picking up a car when I shouldn't have, that I ended up crashing, ended up in jail, giving up so fast on pursuing what I really wanted. Is there something that you will rewrite your youth? Like, I know the whole way through my life, the way it happened is the way that was supposed to happen. So I wouldn't change it because that made me who I am now. But if I could just kind of change this path, I would. If I could scratch, growing up, I gave too much importance to other people's opinion. I was a people pleaser. I wanted to, keep everyone happy, right? Other people's opinion mattered a lot to me, And growing up from being, we grew up in the hood in Huntington Park, which is not hood, but it's hood.
Yeah.
You always wanted to have the nice shoes. You always wanted to have it, but it's just to please other people so they can feel like you got it, and it was never like that. So I would change those little things in my life.
In my case, maybe what?
You don't have to find
No, I'm trying to figure out. Maybe hanging out with the wrong crowd. Maybe if I would have not hang out with the wrong crowd, I would have probably started my dreams or pursued my dreams faster. Because sometimes they just hold you back a little bit, and also not just going for it in a lot of ways. In the sense of like, how they tell you in school, like, don't be shy. There's not such a dumb question. Raise your hand and ask.
Mm-hmm.
Like, maybe in my case, like, I should have done that more often. Like, if I don't know something, I just go for it, and who cares, just go for it.
Yeah, because a lot of the times we just have the analysis paralysis. You want to ask the perfect question. You want to have everything perfect. And, at the end,
there's no such thing.
There's no such thing. We go back to the podcast, a puros huevos. So how do we get here? A puros huevos. We got to this country, a puros huevos. Now we have people like Camilo fixing properties over $1 million, a puros huevos. And it just started with a deep desire. Obviously, el nombre es un poco vulgar, and pero sí, esa base de puros huevos. So, Camilo, where do you see yourself in 3 years? Why do I ask 3 years? 10 years? It's very discouraging to like, fuck, 10 years. 5 years is still like, 3 years is something more así como reasonable, obtainable, que dices tú, ¿sabes qué? En 3 años, I see myself from Boyle Heights to Manhattan Beach or something like that. Where do you see yourself in 3 years?
En 3 años, in 3 years. So in our industry, as you know, like if you're fixing houses for someone else, which I still do, we do a lot of we do a lot of home improvement for a lot of homeowners. But on the other side, we're doing our own personal deals. So where do I see myself in 3 years? Mm-hmm. Is doing my own projects.
Only your own projects.
Only my own projects. And it's been happening now. This year, it's almost the end of this year, and we are gonna maybe flip 3 houses. But my goal next year is to, going back to your question, is to be just flipping houses. I want to do maybe 20 to 22.
20 to 22.
Yeah.
That's great. And and that just really, why do I ask that question? Because once you see yourself, where do you see yourself in 3 years, you need to reverse engineer. Okay, so if I need to do, 30 a year, then I need to, talk to this amount of people so I could get this amount of deals, because maybe he's not going to be, the work is the same one, because now he's not going to be talking to regular homeowners for the work. Now he's going to be talking to realtors, to wholesalers, be on podcasts, so he can expose himself that he's a cash buyer and he's buying more property.
Yeah.
He's probably going to need to advertise or stuff like that. So that's very important. 3 years, I know.
What about you? Where do you see yourself in 3 years?
Where do I see myself in 3 years? I see myself doing real estate full time because I still run my trucking business. I see myself that. My son's gonna be 17, getting close to going to hopefully college, or if not, whatever he pursues. But just moving a little bit away, maybe out of state.
Really?
Well, or Inland Empire. Yeah, back and forth. I just. I love LA. I'm from LA. I consider myself LA native, or maybe like Palm Springs, just kind of a little bit on the, I like a little bit the peace of mind.
More chill.
I do love LA though. I do love LA. So I know we talked about that you're doing flipping, you're doing home improvement, you specialize a lot in the ADU. How can people reach you?
Well, through this podcast. Yeah, or Instagram. Or TikTok, we're on Instagram. So if you guys want to DM me on Instagram, I'll be happy to personally reply back to you guys and maybe get together. There's going to be another meetup, right, coming up?
Yeah, so we're going to be having another meetup sometime in the last weekend or so of October. But yeah, his Instagram is going to be definitely on the platform. Hit him up. if you're an agent, I know Camilo specializes in the Sun Valley,
San Fernando Valley.
San Fernando Valley. So any flips, any, just pocket listings that you want to give to him.
Any off-market deals, any properties that are beat up that, they don't qualify for the traditional loan because the bank is going to go out there and take a look at everything. Like we buy it as is. We'll close in max 10 days, all cash. And that's it, yeah.
So, that's a little bit of what he does. And we have 4 questions that to me that are hacks to a happier and productive life. And I want to ask these questions to you just to finalize the podcast. Cool. How important is your circle of influence?
A lot. Como dicen en español, que de 5 borrachos tú eres el sexto. So,
it's true. It's true.
So going back to your question, yeah, your circle of friends is very important. I think, I just said it, de 5 borrachos tú eres el sexto. Si estás con 5 personas que son successful, que están enfocados en lo que quieren hacer, salir adelante, les está yendo bien, tú vas a ser uno de ellos.
Nosotros decimos, el que con lobos se junta, aullar se enseña.
Correcto.
So if you're, just as he said, that's why we don't wrestle with pigs, right? Because at the end of the day, you're a pig,
yeah.
So it's very important, and I'm always super stressing about how important is the circle of influence because, what do you say? Hang with cripples, you'll learn how to limp. So it's very important. I went to eat with Camilo maybe 2 months ago or 3 months ago, give or take. I saw the way he ate. He eats very clean. Talk to me about your morning routine. Do you have a morning routine? Do you have some, kind of structure? How do you feed your body as well?
Oh yeah. So you don't know my wife, but I'm sure you've seen her on Instagram and all that. So she's very disciplined, and every day 6 a.m. in the morning, we're hitting the gym in the house for about an hour. She's more strict than I am, but at least I try to do at least 3 times a week, a little bit of cardio, eating healthy, and exercising. I think it's important that you exercise because when you're exercising, your brain starts functioning way different and better. But I think it's important, especially, I'm crossing that age already where I have to stay
healthy. Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I know you have your kids, so you have to stay young for your kids as well,
yeah.
right?
And we're planning on having one too, so.
Oh, okay. Let's go. So I get super inspired when I see people that have structure in their life because if you have structure in your life, you have structure in your business, right? And there's people who have successful business with no structure. But what I say is that if you had a little bit more structure, your business could be doing a lot better.
Correct.
So structure is very good. Just keep the structure, and the way you do anything is the way you do everything, and that's why he's very successful in his flips and home improvement. So I'm very big on personal development, books. Obviously, that's why we're doing the podcast. I love going to meditations. I love doing, Have you done any books that you recommend or podcasts or anything that has helped you through your journey that you would recommend to others?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't read books.
And that's fine.
I don't read books. And my wife, she eats books. She's a doctor. She's a dentist. But me personally, I just, I'd rather do, watch videos or learn through videos and listen. When I'm in my car, sometimes I just find inspirational YouTube videos, Tony Robbins and other influencers.
He does read YouTube. That's his.
So that's it.
That's
it. Yeah.
That's
so
it.
I just listen a lot. I like to listen a lot from a lot of successful guys, that are in our industry.
Got it.
And pick from them. And
so Tony Robbins is a great guy. He helped me through a lot. I've got the opportunity to go through Grant Cardone. So and you don't. Sometimes books are not for certain people. Like to me,
I'm more audio.
It's more an audio. Yeah. I do the audibles. I do the reading.
Yeah.
I like it. I enjoy it. I feel like I put my phone down and I just silence everything because you're a busy guy. And we were here and his phone ran back to back. So did mine. So when you're able to silence everything,
24 missed calls.
24 missed calls. So that tells you a lot. So you have that peace of mind, and I really believe that you need to be present with yourself to enjoy yourself.
Oh yeah.
100%. Okay, something, the last question I have for you, when you're not flipping houses, being, a great GC, doing home improvements, doing your cardio, what do you do for fun?
So I don't know if I told you, but I was a soccer player. I used to play a lot of soccer. Shit, I used to train maybe 4 or 5 days out of the week.
Okay.
And I stopped playing about 8, 10 years ago. So going back to your question, I spent a lot of time with my family and my kids. But the other day I was telling my wife, like, shit, I need to find a hobby that I want to do. So I've been looking at some nice yachts.
Oh, look at that! Look at that!
So maybe in 2-3 years I want to pick one up, but I want to take some classes, learn. There's like 40, 52 boats. So maybe that's next box that we do in a few years. It'll be in the yacht.
Maybe it'll be in the yacht. That'd be great. So I do believe that I love soccer just like you. So I go on, every other Monday to go play tennis soccer with, most of my friends, and most of them were professionals and everything. But to me, I feed my young soul. Like serious, professional, you're talking to clients face to face. When you're talking directly with clients who are going through divorce or foreclosure, everything, you need to be very compassionate.
Yeah, no, and unfortunately, like all the houses, well, not all the houses, but a lot of the properties that are good deals, unfortunately, a lot of times they're foreclosure, they're getting divorced, someone died.
There's a lot of I wouldn't say negative energy, but there's definitely some type of emotional sadness through those. So I really, especially in the trucking, especially in the real estate, they have some type of levels of stress, or and I feed my soul. I put my phone down and I go play soccer, and it just fuels me. It fills me. I'm like so.
Oye, tienes que invitar.
So again, obviously this is, we'll see him in a couple of years in his yacht.
Well, let's hope so. That's my goal.
Nah, we'll keep him accountable. We'll keep him accountable 2 years. So again, this is Camilo. He's in the Sun Valley area, San Fernando Valley. He does quite a lot of flips. You guys have to check out his Instagram. He does nothing but luxury and high. It's very, very fulfilling. Just watching his flips. If you guys have any deals, I'd love for you guys to send me deals and him deals, and we can all make some bread and break bread together. So
and help each other out.
Anything else? Last words you want to share with the camera? Any inspirational quotes that?
Pues que le echen huevos, que le echen ganas y que todo es posible. O sea, todos empezamos abajo. Los mismos así en Instagram, todos esos Instagrammers o famous Instagrammers, empiezan todos con un follower y pueden tener millones. Entonces nunca es tarde para empezar. Lo importante es empezar. No es qué tan rápido vayan. It's not how fast you go or how fast you get there, as long as you're getting there. Sometimes when you go too fast, you're going to miss a lot of things. So, take your time, make sure you're taking steps forward, you're not going back. Just keep going and todo va a salir bien.
I love that. So, I want to just kind of wrap it up as well. Enjoy the journey. I know it's kind of hard when you're getting started, when you can't see the light, when you can't see what's next. But trust me and best believe, these days that when you can't see the light, when you're stressed, when you can't sleep, that's actually, you're building the strength to your better self. You're building that character. You're building that person. You are becoming the guy you admire. You are becoming. So if an immigrant Colombian and a Mexican immigrant are here in LA, one of the most competitive markets in the whole US, we're flipping houses. We're buying multi-million-dollar houses. In his case, I'm buying houses right around the $600,000-$700,000 price point.
Nunca se dejen. Yo puedo decirte que hay muchas personas que dicen, que los intereses están muy altos, que están muy caras las casas, que nadie está comprando. Bullshit. No le crean a ustedes. Métanse en su mente lo que quieren hacer y no importa lo que los demás digan y se va a poder hacer. La casa que hacemos, we just flipped the house in Simi Valley. We put it on the market. I was telling Yoni before we started talking. We put it on the market on Friday. We had a buyer walk in, said, how much do you want for the house? I give him my number, and he told me, that's what you want? I said, yeah. okay, here, take it off the market in one day. And we're closing escrow this week. So yeah, no se hagan creer que la gente les diga o algo. Todo es posible.
Everything's opinion based and perception if you want to believe it. So with that said, everything is based to me is a puros huevos. We're here. We continue to do more deals. We continue to inspire. We continue to pay it forward. So if you guys got any value from this podcast or any podcast, I ask you guys if you guys can please subscribe. If you guys didn't get any value, it's okay. You guys don't do anything. But if you guys got some value, subscribe, share, like from any.
Por lo menos manden un saludo.
Un saludo por ahí. So with that said, thank you guys for being part of this first podcast of A Puros Huevos with Camilo, Yoni, and I'll see you guys at the top, at the very top, at the tip top.
En el yate, en 3 años. Ahí los miro. All right.
That was so good. That was so good.
Natural. Huh?
Yeah, natural.